It's your boy Big Baby Miller here. Listen, we knocking on old bums. First it's gonna be Dylan White, if it's gonna be Joseph Pogba. But you know who got the story right? Mr. Boxing Today. You check him out. He got all the latest news on the heavyweight division. And if you don't know me, you soon will, because I'm kicking everybody ass.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, so according to BoxRec, December 14th, Oscar Rivas and Johann Duhaupas will be on the same card in Paris, France. I'm curious if this right here will set up a fight between Oscar Rivas and Johann Duhaupas. Duhaupas, they have yet to give him an opponent. Some of you probably remember him from getting in there with Povetkin in his last notable fight. He has fought twice since that loss. He's picked up two TK, I believe, well, two stoppage victories. I'm not sure. I forget if they're both TKO or both KOs, but two stoppage victories, trying to, get his confidence back. He was in Deontay Wilder's training camp recently. We know that he also fought Deontay Wilder. Actually, that fight, man, he didn't show, he didn't have a bad showing for himself. He swelled up both of Wilder's eyes. Some people even argue if that fight should have been stopped. So I'm curious to see who they're going to put in front of him. I wish for the Povetkin fight, man, he took that on very short notice. I believe it was like a day's notice. He was actually in training camp for his fight he had scheduled for it was like a month and a half. He still had like a month and a half to go in training camp for Carlos Takam, because Duhaupas had that WBC silver title and he was getting ready to fight Carlos Takam at the end of January of this year, but he decided to take on Povetkin in December of 2016. And he was not in shape, man. So, he jumped at the opportunity. Wish he would have had a full training camp. It's not that I wouldn't want to see him fight Povetkin, but at least with a full training camp, man. The guy was literally in training for a fight that was going to take place like a month and a half later. But he went in there. He got knocked out. He's picked up 2 victories. And Duhaupas is not a bad fighter, in my opinion. He had to fight with Erkin Tepper. This one, Erkin Tepper was looked at as a threat, and he was undefeated. I had Tepper winning that fight by a couple points. I believe I had it like 115, 113. I forget. But I did see that fight on YouTube. And, again, Duhaupas did not show a bad showing in that fight. He's picked up a victory over Manuel Charr. Manuel Charr just beat Usmanov to pick up that regular WBA title. He's only been stopped twice. Again, the one that a lot of people argue that, if the fight should have been stopped and out against Wilder. And then he did get knocked out in a vicious way against Povetkin. But he is not a bad fighter, man. Then he picked up that victory over Robert Helenius. He's the first guy to knock out or to beat Helenius. He took his undefeated record. We know Dillian White just picked up a victory over Robert Helenius. And that was a fight prediction I got wrong. I picked Helenius to win that fight. And Duhaupas went in there, walked him down, stalked him, and knocked him out. That was a pretty entertaining fight. All right, so curious to see who they're going to have Duhaupas face. Duhaupas is rated number 7 by the WBC, and he's rated number 14 by the WBA. Not only are they on the same card, they're both rated by the WBC. Oscar Rivas is rated number 9 by the WBC. So you have 2 guys that are in the WBC's top 9, number 7 and number 9. Going at it. So Duhaupas, man, he should be in some good shape for this fight. It's going to take place December 14th. And right here is the WBC rankings. As you can see, Rivas number 9 and Duhaupas number 7. All right. Oscar Rivas, he will be fighting Ignacio Esparza. I've never heard of Esparza, so I went and looked him up. He's 21-2. He did fight Denis Lebedev. He's only fought about 6 or 7 times in the last 10 years. He was more of a cruiserweight in his career. But there is one fight that I've seen of him on YouTube against a guy named Miguel Flores. I just watched that fight. The guy was making his pro debut. Esparza went in there and just put a hurting on him. His style, well, first of all, I believe he's 40 years old. You're not going to be wowed by his physique. He likes to whip right hands, whip left hooks, and he likes to throw uppercuts. To me, he's tailor-made for a guy like Oscar Rivas, man. Rivas wants to come forward, use his jab, kind of move his head a little bit, keep the high guard up, and he wants to rain overhand rights. Also seen Rivas kind of bend over to his left, lead with the uppercut, and then come over with the overhand right. I think a right hand is going to end this fight. Esparza keeps his jab hand down low. He likes to shoot the jab, and he wants to whip punches. He's like swinging wildly with these punches. He wants to whip hooks, left and right hooks. Just think the style is just perfect for Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas, man, is a guy that's 21-0, 16 KOs. Olympian. He beat Kurbet Pulev in the Olympics. You know, so Rivas is a guy I've done quite a few videos about. His 2016 year, man, kind of went down the drain. That was a year where he had fights for Gerald Washington. Then he had a fight with Amir Mansour. They were on the table. And then he failed his eye exam here in the United States. So, but he does get fights up there in Canada. And as of right now, he has this fight scheduled for December 14th in France, man. So hopefully everything goes well for him. And I want to see him get a good fight here, man. So that's what I'm thinking. Will they try to pair these two up in the future? I think that'd be a good fight. I really do. So in Rivas, in his last 10 fights, all stoppage victories. 5 of those stoppage victories took place in the first round. So this guy does have heavy hands. And I think the Duhaupas fight, stylistically, I know I'm talking about like it's going to happen, but to me, I think the fight makes sense. I think the WBC can actually make that fight into some type of eliminator type of fight. You have 2 guys in the top 9. It makes sense. You can either have the fight in Canada or have it in France, you know, so we'll see, man. That's just me speculating and wishing and wanting, right? But both these guys will be in action December 14th, man. Just want me to get my opinion about it. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.